What's going on, everybody? It is your boy, your friendly neighbor, TK Blam, back in the building. We have another Saturday with another live ass show here for the Shop podcast. Thank you for everybody joining us out there in YouTube land, man. We got a great show lined up today. And once again, as I always say, thank you guys for the continued support. And if you're stopping in for the first time, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I got a lot of great gamers with me here today. So let's go ahead and get this ball rolling. So we're going to start with our guest of the hour. And I just told him this literally a few seconds ago. He is the first Nintendo-centric guy I've had on this podcast ever. All right, so it's a monumentous day. So go ahead and give yourself a shout out, Nick.
What's going on, everybody? My name's Nintendo Direct, and as we were talking beforehand, like, yeah, I'm a Nintendo-centric guy, but I'm also a big fan of Xbox in that same way. So I came from Saltiest Gaming. Y'all know Salty. If y'all know Salty, I used to be on his podcast. My name was Nick Fury there, and so those are my roots in the YouTube community, was the Xbox community. So I always got to give love for Xbox and everything Xbox. So I'm ready to just get this thing rolling.
All right, let's get started, man, for sure. And then we got two of your usual suspects. Go ahead and Mr. Unassuming himself, Fuzzy, go ahead and give yourself a shout out, brother.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Fuzzy Belvedere here. Glad to have Nintendo on here and ready to talk some games with the usual suspects, Blam and Zocker. So let's get it started.
All right, let's dive in. And Zocker, go ahead and give yourself a shout out, brother. Moving up in the YouTube community pretty quick, man.
I don't know about quick, but what's up, everybody? How's it going? Glad to have Nintendo on here. I mean, he's like a unicorn, a Nintendo-centric guy. What's going on? Blam, it's always a pleasure, man. Everybody in the chat, glad we can have you. Let's have a good show.
All right, guys, let's dive in. You know how we do. Once again, if it's your first time here, please drop a like on the video. It helps it be seen. Also, subscribe to the channel. No problem, everybody. Let's dive in. I got some good-ass topics here today. So we're going to be talking about a couple different things. We're going to go ahead and start with probably, in my opinion, the biggest news of the week. Yeah, bigger than PUDDLEGATE, okay? Yeah, it is bigger than that, all right? So I'm talking about the Cyberpunk 2077 48-minute gameplay video that was dropped by CD Projekt Red. Oh, my fucking God. I cannot. I was sitting down today, okay? Me and Fuzzy were talking. Fuzzy, how many times did I just completely go quiet because I told you I was watching the trailer again?
Oh, quite a bit. Like, I could hear you talking about like each thing that popped up as far as like the different upgrades and it's
just no, you're good. It just floored me. I've watched it a few times and I'm probably gonna watch it again later on today. It completely blew the fuck. I thought that Red Dead 2 Redemption trailer was something, but this blew me off the fucking map. And I want to get you guys' opinions, what you guys first thought about when you watched the trailer. If you guys have watched it multiple times, I'm pretty sure you have. So we're going to start with you, Nick. Have you seen the trailer, and what was your immediate reaction?
Yes, I have seen the trailer, and my immediate reaction is win, and I got to have it. Here's the deal, man. Like, you're all going to kill me for this. I'm not a big Witcher guy. All right. So, like, people say, oh, man, you got to play The Witcher. Me, never been a big Witcher person, right? Never really been big on The Witcher. I played 2 for like maybe 10 hours, and I just kind of just went to the side. And I have Witcher 3 in my backlog on my Xbox, but I've never gotten to it. Just never gotten to it. So when I heard that the creators of The Witcher were putting out a game like this, I thought, okay, yeah, it's going to look good. I'm going to be sure that the visuals are going to be great, but I kind of was just like, we'll wait and see about it. When I saw this, though, I'm 100% in. 100% on this one.
Oh, yeah. How could you not
shot? 100% in on this one, dude. I just everything about it, the whole RPG aspects, the sci-fi futuristic, like I'm in on that. That is my niche. Like I'm a big fan of Mass Effect. I'm a big fan of sci-fi. So whenever I see something like this, I'm attracted to it. And so watching the gameplay, yeah, I'm in. Count me in.
Can I go out on a limb right now? I think I feel safe at this point to go out on a limb. This is probably gonna wipe the floor with every year. Like it's literally probably gonna like to let me know if I'm reaching, Nick. Let me know if I'm doing too much. It's gonna be bigger than Mass Effect.
I mean, you might be right because Mass Effect took some hits, bro. I mean, Mass Effect right now is down, and Mass Effect was huge back in the day. But
it was
this
huge.
has that potential. This really does have that potential. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna just say no, bro, you're wrong. Like it really does have that potential.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not really going out on a limb, but this could be that next game, that next sci-fi game that we're waiting for.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get your opinion, Fuzz. I know me and you were talking about it, man. Today we were in the party chat on Xbox Live, man, and just kind of let me know what you think, man. You kind of gave me a little insight, but go ahead and tell the world.
Man, I can't wait until this game comes out. I'm hoping it's a 2019, like maybe late 2019, and not like a full-blown 2020 game. But I know it's going to come at the end of the gen, and it'll be carried over into the PS5 and the Xbox 2 and stuff. But man, it's like the best of all kinds of sci-fi movies wrapped into one. You have a little bit of RoboCop, you got a little bit of Fifth Element, you got a little bit of
Judge Dredd,
Running Man, a little bit of Judge Dredd, you got a little bit of Total Recall. I mean, Blade Runner. I mean, all of those great sci-fi movies. Just the futuristic aspect, and that 48 minutes was just only a small part of it was one mission. All the other stuff was like the extra stuff, like the optional stuff. I can't wait until this thing comes out. The only thing that I will probably regret is that I'll spend too much vacation time trying to get like a week or two advance and jump on the game. But yeah, this thing is gonna wreck households. It's gonna slow down productivity at jobs. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be not just a game of the year, but I think it's going to be like the game of the generation, and it'll cover for both this generation and next gen. But
here's my question for you. You're talking about how it's going to be that good. Is it going to do what Fallout did to Pornhub, where all of a sudden activity on Pornhub just cut because of Fallout? Will this game do that to Pornhub?
Will it reach the porn industry? Yeah.
I think, considering that you'll have the option of, having relationships and things like that, and it looks like
that is true. We did.
The whole thing is open as far as what type of relationship between robots and humans, and yeah, I think this will, for a short period of time, knock Pornhub for a bit, or it'll just create a whole new genre. Just like how a lot of people used to do like a Boys in the Hood, GTA 5 videos and things like that. I could see people doing porno videos from this alone. So yeah, this thing is definitely going to eat up a lot of people's free time.
Oh yeah,
always.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm dying to hear you, Zalker. I know you've been over there marinating in the sauce, brother. Let us know what you think, man.
That gameplay blew me away. That's something that really drew me in. Was I felt like I was watching a movie. I was just like, man, this is directed so cool. The enemies looked extremely unique. The whole game just like oozes imagination and just like creativity. It's just so cool, and it really gave me like something that I've been wanting. I don't know if you guys know what Shadowrun is. It's a tabletop fantasy. It literally looks like they just used Shadowrun as a basis of how they're going to do this game in Fifth Element and stuff like that. So
Fifth Element's a good one.
Yeah, and so so like all that stuff just like crammed into a game that's an open world game, and your choices matter, and they matter because if you've played Witcher 3, they do. And I'll be honest, I haven't played Witcher 3 all that much. I feel like the genre for me, like sword and stuff like that, like I felt like I was just kind of like, I need to wait a little before I get back into it. And I just installed Witcher 3 again to get back into it and kind of maybe play it a little bit more. But Cyberpunk is the genre that I want right now. Like I just want to play it. It's unique. We don't have anything like it. You said Mass Effect, but I don't even think Mass Effect touches this.
I don't think it does either.
No, like it just.
I'm just saying as far as like game breaking, game changing thing. So
Mass Effect introduced it. Yeah, it also introduced that element of decisions as well. Mass Effect was one of the first games where your decisions along the way kind of changed the game. So
and I get that, but I'm just looking at the game and I'm just like, man, this is going to be crazy. And you can tell the game's far off, people.
Yeah, it is.
Like I said, I'm a very technical person, and if you look at like the draw distance and you look at buildings, some of those buildings look like 360 graphics buildings. Like if you pay attention to it, but like they tell you, like they've warned you in the video multiple times, this is super early. Like this isn't what the game might not even be like this when it comes out.
Yeah,
right?
that's another thing too. That's crazy to think.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, I wanted third person." You know, I really didn't. After watching first person, I'm like, "Nope." I didn't even think. Oh, I want third person. I want. It never even came to my mind. Like I'm literally like the immersion of the first person just blew it away. Yeah. Like just so cool.
When you look at it, like I try to think to myself, what does this look like? Like, you know what I mean? Like you always try to compare something to something. And when I look at this, I'm like, what does this look like? And I cannot come with anything. This game is like its own thing. Like
the closest comparisons we can make are movie comparisons.
Well, maybe Deus Ex. Maybe?
Well, Deus Ex is I guess as far as like the time period and the cybernetics, things like that go, but this feels so much more organic than Deus Ex. Like it feels so much more like real. As far as how the world works and it being immersive.
I think we'll get like a demo at E3 and then it'll launch the year after that. That's what I think is going to happen because they have a lot of it's a big world and these guys don't release games like messed up. Yeah. And they have a lot of stuff that they need to polish up, which I'm completely fine. Even if they take 3 years, I don't give a shit. Just make the game awesome.
No, I think it's at least a year and a half to probably 2 away. The dev did come out and he did mention that the game is playable from start to finish. Now, that doesn't mean it's a final playable version because those are 2 different things. So you can play the game all the way through is pretty much what he stated. But like you said earlier, that's not even probably the final version. They're still tweaking a ton of shit and it's still super early. So it's crazy to think that the game is essentially completed. You know what I'm saying? Like from start to finish. Crazy to think that they made that far already,
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. There's nothing else like it. We all are just sitting here waiting. That's basically where we are.
And we haven't. So my thing is when I saw and this is going back to just because it's probably going to be the biggest game to come out this year, Red Dead 2. When we saw that trailer and we got the little teasers there, we didn't really get to see much. We didn't get to see nearly as much gameplay as we did for Cyberpunk, but. And I was taken aback by that. And this seems to taken that concept of an open world, even for Red Dead, to a whole nother like fucking complete left field. Like there's no other genre. This game is unlike anything we've seen. It's taken a little bit of the best pieces of everything we want in an RPG and a shooter. It's probably going to be simultaneously the best first-person shooter and the best RPG at the same time.
Ooh, yeah. They can get awards for best first-person shooter and best RPG.
Have we ever had that?
No. I'll be honest with you. If it launches the same year as Halo, it's not going to get the best first-person shooter.
No, probably not. But I thought about that earlier as well. You guys, we think of 2019, 2020. We on the same page here?
I'm thinking 2020.
Okay, Fuzzy.
I would like to see 2019, but Zocker's right. It's probably 2020.
You too, Nick? Where you at?
Yeah, I'm about late 2020. I'm probably right there, dude. Yeah, probably holiday 2020. Heck, maybe even push it back if something else comes back to early 2021. I think it's around there.
I feel like it's a next generation game. If you look at the world,
you know what? I was thinking the same thing. I'm glad you said it, not me.
I mean, I don't care. I think it's going to be cross generation, but I do think that some features are going to be blocked off if you have an X or an S or a slim PS4. I think some things are going to be blocked off, and the next generation CPU is going to be able to make that world far more lively.
A la GTA 5.
Exactly, but GTA 5 was kind of like, I don't know. They were so smart, made so much money, bastards.
Oh yeah,
they made so much money. I still to this day cannot believe that GTA 5 is as popular as it does. I cannot believe it.
What's like 125 million copies sold? It's ridiculous number like that. It's retarded. Yeah. And so going back to like a week or two ago, I posed this question to you guys. This is for you also too, chat. Can we realistically say CD Projekt Red, Rockstar, and there's a huge gap, and then there's everybody else? Can we say that at this point?
Yeah, everybody else is like fighting.
Is it Rockstar, CD Projekt, and then it's like?
I would say CD Projekt Red needs one more game before we put them on the level of Rockstar.
Okay. Oh, that's fair. Rockstar
I would say Blizzard is right there with them.
Oh, see, that's it. See, you play PC. I know where that came from.
Now,
I know where that
Blizzard,
came from.
when Blizzard puts out a game, bro, it's
Overwatch is huge. Like, so no, you're right. I completely spaced Blizzard, but Blizzard, if you look at their success as far as their pedigree and the way their games do and the way how well they age over time, you're right. Blizzard will be there. So I'm not gonna knock you for that. So, no big deal there. But
yeah, Blizzard's more consistent on their success. Rockstar, they're getting, it seems better, and it's just, I don't know if you want to say GTA 5 is an anomaly. I know 4 did amazingly well, but nowhere near what 5 is doing. And if Red Dead can do even a quarter of what GTA 5 is doing, they're definitely doing things right. But man, yeah, Blizzard is up there because they're consistent on just about everything they put out there is, you know, in the top 10 or top 5 for a long period of time
for years even. It's staying power for sure. So that was a great opening topic, man. See, you guys probably thought we was going to start with that Spider-Man shit, didn't you? See, you guys so we are going to talk about the Spider-Man right now. This is also for you guys in the chat as well. So Spider-Man, we got to touch on it. I really sat back, and me and Fuzzy talked about this. I sat back and I was not sure what I wanted to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it just a little bit, okay? So I just want you guys' general opinion on the whole PUDDLEGATE, whatever you want to call it, the Spider-Man downgrade. Now, I saw the screenshots and I saw the differences. It seemed pretty obvious to me. I don't want to go out on a limb and say the game's not going to be great. I think the game's going to be fantastic. I'm just not entirely sure what we're going to be seeing based on what we saw so far, you know, seeing the graphical differences. So I'm skeptical, to say the least. But I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Zarker, because me and you had a real good conversation about this before the show. So go ahead, man. What is your thoughts on this Spider-Man situation?
You know, I think people are overblowing it or downplaying just the puddles. Like, they're like, oh, it's just puddles. Man, look at the whole entire screen, okay? Look at the building shadows. Look at the lighting. Look at Spider-Man's suit. Look at the entire encompassing game. If you were like, oh, it's just a still image in one part of the game. Well, people are talking on Twitter already, and you can look this up. It's well documented. People that have the game have admitted that it's downgraded. And it sucks, you know, because I know a lot of people, like, this is just for hardcore like us, right? It's a sad thing to see because I'm not going to really care, but I am going to care at the same time because I'm a technical person and I will keep track of stuff like that and I'll look at things like that. And it's not going to hinder the fun of the game for me. It's just I'm going to look at it and be like, man, that could have been a little bit better from what you've shown us. Like the big one I saw, and the puddle ones wasn't big for me. I was kind of like, whatever, it's puddles, right? And there's like a couple shadow things. I was like, but the whole game's not going to be like that. But then when you looked at him running and jumping off that building and you see all those cars and then somebody like posted what really it is and it's like no cars and no people on the floor, I was like, oh man, that's a huge downgrade for me. Like the liveliness of the world, right? New York City, like how many people, the condensed traffic, all that.
That reminds me of Infamous. Didn't that happen with Infamous?
Yeah. I think it did, yeah. And like just little things like that, just it's going to start getting annoying. But, you know, as we play the game, like, honestly, 30 minutes in, you're going to forget about it, right? Because you're just having a good time. But I hope that it's not like that for the entire game where it's just what they showed us at E3 and all the clips they showed us where you're like, man, this thing looks freaking amazing. And these are people playing it on the Pro telling you that there's a downgrade. And these are PlayStation fans telling you, yeah, there's a downgrade. If these people notice it and admit it, that means there's a pretty substantial downgrade, people. And especially for people that are technical like me, who likes looking at that stuff, it's going to be a substantial one. But it's not going to hinder how the game's going to be fun. It's just you're going to see a downgrade. It's okay to admit it. It's fine. Nothing, like, it's not the end of the world. but
and I'm going to be honest with you, just not to cut you off, but, you know, the whole boy who cried wolf situation that the media is doing right now. Well, how I can hear you guys talk about Spider-Man, you know, and this and this and this and that. And it's like, relax, man. We're just pointing something out. All games have been picked apart this generation with the whole advent of resolution gate. And, you know, my system is more powerful than yours. Digital Foundry people. We have a whole goddamn company that picks these games apart visually. So don't sit up here and act like this is something that's brand new that we just started when Spider-Man came out. Like, that's not new. There's been a ton of games on both sides of the fence that have been picked apart. Order 1887, On the Xbox side, there's been a few games. Matter of fact, Rise was one of the few that's also been picked apart. So let's tone it down a little bit. If it's obvious, and if you're a gamer out there, you're going to spend some money on this game. That's something that you should be aware of before you decide to pop the game in or make your final decision. You know?
Yeah, I mean, graphics are a big part of the gaming, right? Like, there's a reason why everybody's so excited for the 20 series coming out from NVIDIA, the 2080s, whatever, all that stuff. Like, graphics cards are important. These are important. Graphics are a huge part of why people buy games. And, and like you said, the grass gate, remember, like with GTA back in the day, like, PS4 has this many blades of grass and Xbox doesn't have this many. It's like, whatever, right? Like, we were all part of it. This is just the nature of the beast that we live in now. This is what's happened. But for me, I've always looked at graphics all the way back to Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, to StarCraft, Brood War in 1997. I've always been a graphic kind of dude. Like, I love looking at that. And so seeing the downgrade was disappointing. And I get, like, every game gets downgraded. I just didn't think it was going to be that big, to be honest with you. I'm just being full honest. I was like, wow, these screenshots are pretty big. They're pretty substantial because the game looked amazing. Like, I saw it in 4K on my TV, right? And
yeah,
I saw them playing, and I was like, wow, this thing's going to be freaking amazing. And then I saw the downgrades. I'm like, whoa, what the hell did you do? Right?
Yeah.
So
it has to be honest. And we're going to go ahead with our guest of honor, Nick, man. How do you feel about the whole Spidey situation, man?
To me personally, like, because here's the deal, I'm a Nintendo centric channel. I play the game on the Switches, which is the weakest of the three consoles, if you want to call it a console. There's a different perspective. People like to say it's not a console, but I play on the weakest of the three. I also have an Xbox, so it's weird for me, right? Because I understand that why people would say it's a big deal because at the end of the day, there are gamers out there that prefer the best graphics and the best detail, right? And then there are other gamers such as myself, which I do love great graphics, but that's not the end all for me, right?
Yeah.
So I understand both sides and both perspectives. My take on it is, as long as it doesn't affect anything crazy with the game, as long as the game is still fun, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I do understand why people would be upset. Now, me personally, what I do like about this news is watching, because I don't like when I don't like the fanboyism of gaming. Honestly, if me personally, like, I don't like it whenever there's Sony fanboys or Xbox fanboys. I'm just a gamer, period. So I don't like wave a flag for either one. What I do like about this news is seeing the damage controlling coming from the Sony community. That much is always fun to watch them melt down and freak out and damage control, certain things. And then, that's the best part about it. But as far as the game goes, it's not, to me, not a huge deal. As long as the game is fun, as long as the game is good, as long as you're still getting, your good frames within the game, you're fine. That's how I feel about it. But I do understand the other side, which is, this is a big deal. I'm 100% on that one.
Yeah. I just think that, like, because, like you said, it seems to have come full circle when it comes to this whole graphical situation. Like, it seems to have come directly full circle. We're right back to square one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to call a spade at the
right. Well, you have to call a spade, because remember at the beginning of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, where the narrative was, oh man,
900p
1080p versus 900. 1080p makes you a better gamer. Remember that narrative? Like, that was from heads of Sony. Like this makes you a better gamer. This and that. And Sony, and the Sony fanboys went with that, and that's all we heard. And then finally the Xbox One X comes out. Now we have the power, we have the 4K. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I hate about the gaming community, is that aspect where all the damage controlling, all the fire shot back and forth. Like, I don't like that. I don't deal with it. And so it's fun to watch that part. It's fun to watch them sort of damage control whenever at the beginning it was all about power. We have the best console. Our console's more powerful. Everything looks better. And all of a sudden now they're damage controlling. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's like very hypocritical. And it's humorous to me. I love it.
Yeah, and I just think it's real hilarious. But either way, let's go ahead and get your opinion. Fuzzy, once again, if it's your first time here, please go ahead and hit that like button, man. Let's get as many likes as we possibly can. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you guys all for showing up. I want to do a couple shout outs. A-Bomb in here, Sean Su, Zinc, Nuts, Mr. Super Average, King James. Shout out to all you guys. If I missed a few of you guys, I apologize, but thank everybody for showing up today. So Fuzzy, man, what do you think? We've been talking about this a little bit too. So what do you think about this whole Spider-Man thing? You guys, everybody's overblowing this thing, or how do you feel about it?
Well, at least it's not as bad as like the Watch Dogs downgrade from a few years or at the beginning of the generation. I mean, it's noticeable, but not quite like the smoke is completely gone and, dynamic explosions and things. At least it's not quite on that level. It's more online, like with the infamous Second Son, with the downgrades that we saw in like some of the textures of the clothing or, some of the, surroundings as far as the NPCs and things. But I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really looking forward to this game anyway. I'm more of a zombie fan, so the game I'm waiting for, I'm pretty sure is going to get a downgrade anyway, and that would be the Days Gone. I think we had talked about it before, where it's like, I know that initial trailer showed like hundreds of zombies chasing you while you're running around this farm or whatever. And then the more recent trailers or E3 showings that they made of it, not this past E3, but the one before, it was more like just 20 zombies, running through a camp type of thing. So the Spider-Man, graphical downgrade, it sucks, but I'm pretty sure people will still have fun with it. I just, like Nick was saying, it's funny to see the damage control on it and everything like that, especially considering how much graphics mattered in the beginning of the gen, and now that the X1X is around, resolution doesn't matter. It's all about the exclusives and the bangers.
It's the experience. It's all about the experience now. It's all about the experience now. Remember that.
Exactly. And it's just one of those things. You don't hear anybody talking about PS Pro enhanced games anymore. I haven't heard anything about a PS Pro enhanced game since Colt's video when he compared how many Xbox One X games versus PS4 Pro. So
that's a good point.
It sucks, but I'm pretty sure people will have fun with it. But I mean, for me personally, the only thing I noticed more so than the puddles was the lack of reflection on the buildings. So if you're on the side of the building, some angles you'll see a little.
No. That's a new mode. It's called Vampire Mode. That's a brand new mode in the game. You didn't see that update? Catch that tweet?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, my bad. I thought maybe I was the only one.
No,
okay, go ahead, finish it.
Yeah, that's it sucks, but I'm pretty sure people will enjoy it. And a month later with the DLC, people play it some more after that, and then we'll start talking about 2019 with Anthem and Division 2 and how many people are still playing Red Dead Redemption and stuff like that. So
I'll be if you don't mind me cutting in real quick.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll
be honest with you. I think the reason why this is getting a lot more views or people talking about it and attention is because I don't know if you guys saw E3, like IGN or GameStop talking about E3 and Xbox. One of the guys on the panel said, what's crazy? When you look at these games, because of the Xbox One X, you actually have faith that that's how they're going to look.
Yeah.
And I will say that one of the big things that like we've kind of tested, and I think it's just been ingrained in us, is that when we see games on the Xbox platform or on E3's show, when we get them in our hands on our X, it looks even better.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll be honest, like there's games that have just completely, I've seen them on E3 show and I've seen them like on YouTube and I'm like, man, that looks amazing. And then I get on my X and I'm like, holy shit. Like this looks way better than what I was streaming. Right.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing to have faith in a console like that. And I don't think I know the Pro is not on that level. Yeah, it's just not. And when you look at something, there is a downgrade to it. And I think people aren't used to it now. I think people are just kind of, even PlayStation fanboys that act like the X doesn't show what it can do. But man, games look amazing on it. And that's a little bit of a reason why people are giving like there's the idiots that are giving shit to PlayStation fanboys. And it's like, all right, dude, just shut up. But just understand that like there's a standard set now, to be honest, by the X.
Agreed.
Yeah. No, good point. Good point. We're gonna end that whole Spider-Man conversation on that. We're gonna leave it right
right there. Drop the mic
for sure.
walk
Yeah,
away.
we're gonna leave it there.
Walk away. We
Oh
done
yeah,
with
we're
that.
walking off on that one. Zucker, just go ahead and shoot us. Throw the champagne bottles away after that one, brother. All right, so let's go ahead and keep moving. Once again, thank you for everybody that's showing up live, man. Please share the link. Let's pack this chat out, man. We always love to put on a good show, have a good time with you guys, and I really enjoy myself. So thank you guys for coming in and show on Saturday this evening. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Okay, move on. And I wanted to talk about this. This is not as big of news as as far as what we've talked about thus far. But I do want to talk about Battlefield 5 being pushed back into late November. I think it's November 20th, if I'm correct. November 20th, I believe, as to what it got pushed back to. I'm a little curious what you guys feel. The pattern was it doesn't want to be anywhere near Red Dead. That's probably the best thing for it. It just seems to make sense for me. Put it back where it usually falls at, somewhere early, mid-November. It usually competes with COD directly, and it usually doesn't. It's been doing it for so long that COD coming out around that time is not going to change. I don't think it's going to change the sales pattern too much. The one thing that they can't benefit from this year that they did last year was that everybody hated COD last year. COD had this huge stigma around it last year, and Battlefield caught Call of Duty with its pants down. They pulled out a boots on the ground Battlefield, World War I game, and Call of Duty was doing that Halo shit again. You know what I'm saying? And so they kind of got caught with their pants down, and it worked out for Battlefield 1 last year. But Black Ops is back to where it needs to be at this point. I don't really see anybody that's too high on it or too low on it. Everybody seems to be even killed. But at the end of the day, Call of Duty is still the big brother on the block, I still believe, even though Battlefield did do a great job last year capitalizing on that. But I want to start with you, Nick. What do you think of the whole Battlefield being moved, brother?
I mean, I think they moved it because, as you mentioned, there's a lot of games coming in this next, few months coming out. I mean, Red Dead, Fallout. There's just a good amount of games coming out. Call of Duty is one of those. And I think they're in a spot to where no matter where they move it, it's going to get overshadowed by at least two games at one time. So, I mean, I guess they moved it back to the spot where I guess they could probably get the best impact, but I don't think it's going to help out either way. I mean, you have Call of Duty, Fallout, and Red Dead out. And so right now, I mean, after, like you mentioned, they caught Call of Duty with their pants down and they had success there. And then Call of Duty went ahead and turned things back around, and they had Call of Duty World War II. And you said Black Ops is here. I think the direction that they went was not a good direction for them to go in. I think that has sort of killed the hype for Battlefield. I mean, they went World War II, and then now they're like, oh, we're doing Royale, and I don't think that was a good idea for them to do. I just felt like they were jumping on that bandwagon. I think the momentum for them isn't going so well, and I think they feel that, and I think them moving it back to a position where they think they could get some impact will help. But at the same time, like, there's games out. I'm not gonna I've normally been a regular Battlefield purchaser for the last few years. This one's not going to be on my list as a day one purchase. It's just not. It's just not because of all the games that are coming out and all the games that are coming out even after this year. Like Red Dead, Fallout. Then I got to play Smash in December, and then not even that. Then here comes The Division. Here comes Anthem. Like, it's going to get overshadowed, and it's not looking good for them. At least to me personally, I don't think it's going to look good, and I think they know that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious at this point because you're already going to have, like you said, you're going to have Red Dead already in your hands. You're going to have Call of Duty in your hands. You're going to have some other games to play in your hands as well. So I think that's going to, if it comes down to that decision about, okay, which game I'm going to buy in an already packed holiday season, I don't think Battlefield is going to be too high on the list.
No, it's not.
Of people. Yeah. So I completely understand where you're coming from. So let's go ahead, you Fuzzy, man. What do you think? You picking up Battlefield 5? I think you told me you weren't going to, right? You were not going to pick it up?
I'm still kind of on the fence. I'm definitely not picking up Black Ops. I'm not much into the multiplayer aspect of it. Black Ops, I was always more so for the campaign. And that's where Battlefield should have capitalized. They should have been like, hey, get a full game for $60, or they should have at least push it that way to, maybe, fire back at Call of Duty to get some of the people over there. But it's one of those games I'll probably wait until it's at Target where it's like a buy two, get one free, or buy two, get one half off, or something like that type of deal. they could push it back even further, but there's not going to be any decent time for them. Like Nick was saying, you got Anthem and Division the beginning of next year. Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts. Oh my God.
Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, it's great.
It's getting real.
Yeah, I'll probably wind up picking it up when it's on sale. Probably if they do one of those, they'll probably have it where you get it for $30, or they'll package it with like Madden or something along those lines. We'll see. But yeah, it's not looking good for them right now.
Yo, Abaddon said it best. The best time for them would probably be December. He just hit it right there in the nail. For Battlefield.
For Battle?
Yeah,
I don't even know what's coming out in December besides
Smash. That's it. Think about it. Smash comes out. Here's a game in December. Like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. But I don't think if they're moving into November, it's not going to happen. This game's going to be. I'm sorry, but remember with Titanfall 2 years ago, Titanfall 2 when it came out. Yeah, it came out with Dead on Arrival. I have a feeling that this Battlefield's going to be the same way. Yeah, you're going to have your hardcore, but other than that, it might be DOA.
Okay, Zucker, man, what do you think, brother? You on the same page, or what's your opinion on the whole Battlefield being moved?
I think they moved it obviously because of the crowded October. Like, Call of Duty, they had low pre-sales, all that stuff. A lot of idiots will say like, oh, they admitted defeat because of the woman stuff, and I don't like that stuff. That's just they're just idiots. Like, they're just trying to push an agenda down your throat. It's honestly because it's business. And they moved it, and they're not going to move it to December, guys. Like, if they do, then that's just bad because they put it on the 20th, right? On their 19th or something in November. Mm-hmm. So they're doing it right before Black Friday because you got to understand that those are people buy stuff then. Like, if people are going to buy an Xbox or PlayStation, they're going to want to get a game with it, and they're going to see Battlefield and grab it, right? Like, that's just statistics. Like, that's where the most consoles, most gaming is sold is during those times. And the game, I think they said, oh, we want to change core things to make it a better experience. I think they just had some modes, like the Battle Royale mode wasn't finished. I think they had a couple other things that weren't finished, and they're just like, you know what? Let's just make this the best possible launch we can get, push it back a month, finish these modes, and then launch it all together to just basically be this thing that people, like, word of mouth is going to bring them to it. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah. And, obviously giving themselves a wide berth from Red Dead Redemption and Black Ops was a smart move. As for me, like, what games are coming out this holiday and stuff, like, Battlefield was actually a game I wanted to get. I'm not getting, Call of Duty. I'm not getting Spider-Man when it comes out. I'm not getting Shadow or the Tomb Raider when it comes out. I'm getting Forza because of Game Pass. Like, Game Pass is just becoming, this just gives me, like, this just shows how amazing Game Pass is, right? Like, to me. And I'm getting Red Dead. And those are the games I'm getting, and I was wishing like Battlefield was going to be there, but now that they pushed it back, it's all right. It's like, all right, November I might play Fallout, but man, that Battlefield to me looked amazing. Like, I want to play it. I love Battlefield games, and this if people remember, this happened to Battlefield 4. They delayed it a little bit, and it came out, and it's arguably the best Battlefield game to ever come out. So people need to chill. Yeah, and it's a strong to me. I love Battlefield 4. I played the hell out of that on PC. But that's people are not realizing that sometimes delays can be good for a game. It was good for Battlefield 4, and we'll see if it was good for Crackdown 3. We'll see if it's good for a couple other games that come out. But I think for Battlefield 5, I think it was a smart decision because we talked about this before. Like, where would they bring this? September, like October, late October, November, December. But I think they found a date that coincides with what they want to do. It gives a wide berth to Red Dead, and it gives, I think it's like a week after Fallout, So yeah. I think it's a smart decision.
Yeah, that's not about it is before we go to the next topic is that no, I didn't look at the game and say, okay, I feel like this is not going to be a good Battlefield. I didn't look at it and see that. I just thought that okay, the position that it's in, monster ass games that we don't get a Red Dead every year. So, I know you're talking about Battlefield 4 and it happened in kind of a similar situation. Well, Battlefield 4 didn't come out alongside Red Dead, either. So that's the thing is that you have these other.
Didn't Battlefield 4 come out alongside Skyrim?
Did it?
I
don't remember.
2000. I think it was. Wasn't it 2011?
No, that was 3.
Whoa.
Was that Battlefield 3?
That was
3 was 2011.
Yeah, 3 was.
That was 3.
Yeah, that was 3. Battlefield 4 was
like around Watch Dogs.
Yeah, you're right. I just looked it up. October 11th. October 25th.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
Battlefield 3. And Battlefield 3 was a good game. I was going to say Battlefield 4 kind of had its issues because remember they called it.
Yeah, it was game issues. It was like it was some.
That came out. Battlefield 4 came out in 2013.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. Yeah, right at the beginning of the gen. So
yeah,
I mean, ultimately, I just think it's going to get lost in the sauce. I think that's going to be the biggest problem. I don't think the game's going to be bad. I think that, like you said, is help they can put out a really good quality product. That work on that battle royale. Maybe it'll be something that people will enjoy doing, and especially like the streaming community, if they can get behind that, and somebody they can find some success there, it may have legs, and it may be a game people, like fine wine. They can, maybe of post E3, people will go back to Battlefield and like, hey, this battle royale mode's not too bad. You know what I'm saying? So it could have a lot of legs, essentially what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and move on to one of the last topics we got here today. Once again, thank you for everybody. Great podcast thus far. But this is kind of something that happened, I think it was today, or maybe yesterday or today. The official Xbox Magazine came out with a tweet essentially saying Fallout 4 is a thing, pretty much is what they stated. And this is the official Xbox Magazine as well. I believe they got the article from another person from like GameSpot, one of the two. And I know me and Zalker actually took a look at the actual tweet, and it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't too crazy. It was more of an opinion piece, rumor piece, kind of what we've been talking about so far. But I want to get you guys' opinions on that. I don't know if you saw it, Nick. I should have probably tweeted. Did you get a chance to see that tweet?
Yeah, I saw the tweet. No, trust me, I saw the tweet.
Okay. What'd you think, man? I mean, anything that you already didn't know? I mean, it wasn't really anything that was like they said this. There was some great little tweets in there and some info around and fine. But what does that do for your hope of maybe Fable 4? Or what do you think? Your stance changed on it at all?
My favorite Xbox franchise IP was Fable. 100% from the beginning to 3. I was excited for Fable Legends, even though that was, that ended up being a failure. But Fable for me is like my number one franchise on Xbox. So anytime I hear any news about Fable, any little hints about a new Fable coming, my ears perk up. So that's why I'm saying when you said, did you see it? Oh yeah, I saw it. I saw it on Twitter. and so they didn't really say too much. We all know that it's rumored that Playground Games is doing it. They haven't confirmed it yet, but that's the big rumor right now. I can't wait. I really can't wait. And I'm glad they actually finally confirmed that, hey, it's going to be like sort of just kind of confirm it's Fable 4 and that's coming. So we can stop kind of worrying about, is Fable coming? Now we got confirmation. I can't even speak. Now that we have confirmation Fable is coming, now I'm excited for it. Now I have something to look forward to in the future, as far as other than just Halo. So now I'm like, okay, cool. Now we have Fable. Cool. Sign me up.
Cool. All right. Shit, that was pretty straight to it. What do you think, Zalk? I know me and you kind of looked like on Twitter. We were talking to the DMs about it, but I mean, a lot of it was you're kind of like me. You know what I'm saying? You're pretty close to, not want to say close to the situation, but the news, you're pretty close to the information is what I'm saying. Like I it's really not too much I read or got from that article. So were you kind of of the same mind?
Yeah, I mean, like the article is basically saying like, hey, we have certain sources that are saying it's happening. Don't worry, blah, 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 all that. But to me, it's kind of like stuff that we already knew. Mm-hmm. I felt like it was just kind of like, hey, we're just going to write an article about it from certain sources we have, and here you go. And people's hopes kind of jumped up. But for me personally, I'm not a big Fable fan. I played it. It's okay. I hope they reimagine it. I hope they put it into a good dev's hand. And I really want like a reimagination of just make it a little more brutal, maybe. I don't know, just something. It needs something different for me to be excited for it, right? And that's something that, it's probably a long way away, to be honest. And it actually says that in the article. That says like, hey, this is probably going to be a while before we even see a release date on this.
Oh yeah.
And Phil Spencer has said that that IP has, you know, they can go to a lot of different routes with it, and it could go to different places. He's specifically said that on Twitter. It's documented.
Yeah, yeah, he said it a couple times.
You know, and in that article, they talk about making the combat more epic. You know, they talk about the dog, which I was like, what the hell ever. And, you know, they said, you know, make your decisions matter more. So, like, that's a big thing, too, right? That you want it to be a game that has consequences and it follows you throughout your gameplay. I just, you know, the game is just, I want something different, to be honest with you. I'll be full-fledged. I want something different. I don't really like all this Fable stuff. If people are like excited for it, I get a lot. It's a very popular game, but to me, I wanted something different. That's yeah, I don't know how to explain it, right? And
no, it's cool.
It's coming too. Like everybody knows, man. It's just, it is, but maybe it's a surprise and they're baiting us. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird hush thing.
Yeah. It's kind of and like you said, I mean, if you've been following Fable or had any kind of inkling or intention on, you know, buying the next Fable or been wanting it, you know, since they've kind of, and this is pretty much just kind of a article that you've already probably, you know, but stacked with a bunch of information you probably already heard before. So it's kind of a follow-up piece, but if you're not too close to the news, it's a really cool read. You know what I'm saying? You get a lot of info from it, some tweets, some quotes, things like that. But otherwise, what about you, Fuzzy? I mean, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Fuzzy.
No, you can go, Soccer. I'm
Well, what I was going to say, sorry, what I was going to say is that people just say like, oh, we think Fable's doing this. This actually, or that we think Playground's doing Fable. This kind of confirms that, hey, Fable is happening. That's why it's a big article, because it's saying this is happening. It's not a rumor anymore. That basically this is like almost confirmed happening. Go ahead, Fuzzy. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, with a lot of the stuff that we kind of already heard and saw, kind of like the writing on the, well, not really the writing on the wall, but read between the lines, where it almost seemed like Phil wanted to announce it at the end of E3. It's good to know that it is in production, even though this isn't exactly Microsoft coming out and saying it, but you know, it's as close as you can get to them saying something with it being a magazine focused around that whole line. I don't think they would want to purposely put something out to kind of, you know, hold their feet to the fire and say, yeah, we just said to the public that Fable's being worked on, so now you got to do it, type of thing. And I don't think that would turn out too well. But knowing that Playground Games wanted to do an open world game, knowing that Playground Games is now part of the Microsoft fold, it's good to know that some of our gut feelings of them working on Fable are there. Let's hope that the story, like Zalker was saying, can be a little more dark or a little more brutal in comparison. Like, I know they have like adult themes throughout the Fable series, but maybe make it where you could go completely on the dark side of things. Then yeah, it will be fine. But it's one of those things that I'll look forward to it when it comes out on Scarlet. I don't think they'll be able to wrap that up in time before this generation ends, but it was a good article to kind of at least keep people's ears perked up and everything for, you know, what's coming down the road, even if it's maybe a year or two before we get like an official announcement.
Yeah, no, and I get I share the same sentiment about Fable, as far as like it almost feels like Phil did want to say something about it. I think he just holds that franchise near and dear, and I feel like he pointed with how Fable, you know, I feel like that hurt him. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn it, like we really wanted to do this, and you guys completely dropped the ball. You know, Lionhead, the whole situation behind that team and everything. And I just think that he's been holding it like, oh, I just need the right person with enough time to do it the way we want to do it. And I feel like that's where he's at with Fable. And I feel like that's where a lot of the fans are at as well. It's a game we wanted. A lot of people aren't high on Fable Legends. Although if you ever got a chance to get into the beta, graphically, it was fucking phenomenal.
Great.
If you got it looked great. It played great. It looked great. The whole free-to-play thing kind of killed it.
I think that game was ahead of its time. I think if it came out now, it would be more successful than it would back then.
Could potentially. There was a lot of cool features, a lot of cool things, aspects as far as the game goes that are probably more acceptable now if you dropped it now as opposed to at the beginning of the gen. So that is a good point. But I think ultimately, it just pretty much buttons up the fact that we're Hunch is correct about Fable. It is something's happening with the game, pretty much, to kind of tie all that together. Now, I did throw in a bonus question here. I only told this question to Zalker and also Fuzzy. This
Not
is
good
for
with pop
you
quizzes.
specifically.
Not good with pop
Oh
quizzes.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So this is specifically for you, but everybody on the panel is gonna answer it as well, like we normally do. So you're the resident Nintendo guy. We all love Nintendo. We all have a soft spot in our heart for Nintendo. Some more than others. I even do. Zelda's favorite game ever, favorite character history of video games, in my opinion. I'm with you on that. But with the recent change of guard or change of like Nintendo's mindset as far as they're this open, Nintendo's turning to fucking Google overnight. They're like this open company. They're open to all these ideas and doing these cool things. So what do you think the recent change as far as like embracing crossplay? Like, what do you think is the biggest reason behind that change? Do you think it was maybe Aya Watts' passing, or there was some other, maybe some other stuff going on behind the scenes?
I think it just comes down to the changing of the guard, and I think they realize that, they still have their hardcore fan base, but they needed to kind of change their sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I guess what's that word I'm looking for?
Culture.
Yes, thank you. They need to change the culture a little bit, because they're still kind of the same old Nintendo a little bit, because they're still kind of out here still doing the sort of things that Nintendo's doing. Like, don't let the Nintendo online service fool you. Like, that is just right now it's bare bones. I think they can improve on it, but right now, don't let that fool you. And that's an unpopular opinion that I have within the community, that don't let that fool you. It may look cool, but unless they improve on it, it's just going to be more the same from Nintendo there. I feel like the whole crossplay thing, I think that just comes down to just relationships, and it's not their IP, so they don't really care too much. So like when it comes to Fortnite, that's not our IP. We just want it on the system. You all do what you want with that. When it comes to
Minecraft,
Warframe, Minecraft, Rocket League, all those other games, they're just like, sure, we'll go with crossplay, but it's not. We don't have any servers to run it, so you got to run it yourself. That's how they kind of did it with Fortnite, where Fortnite was, hey, we want to do crossplay. Nintendo's like, yeah, sure, but we don't really have the means to do it. You're gonna have to do it through your own Epic banner, and that's what they did. So that's what allowed it. So I feel like as long as they don't have to fork the money over or the resources over for it, they're open to it. So in that case, it's still the same old Nintendo. And
that is definitely an unpopular opinion.
Still the same old Nintendo as far as that goes. But it's good to see them changing. It's good to see the changing of the guard making a little bit difference. I'm just still waiting to see more personally, because like I said, I come from the Xbox community. So when I see Xbox doing all these things like the games with service, and yes, everybody wants to make fun of the all access idea that has been leaked, and saying, oh, Xbox is just trying to put Xboxes on layaway or whatever. That was a big joke I heard somebody say. But you see services like this that Xbox is starting to implement, and I want to see Nintendo kind of do the same thing. And that's just me coming from my Xbox background. So it's a very unpopular opinion that I have. I also have the unpopular opinion in the community that I wish they would hurry up and come up with a new hardware rendition of the Switch, because they're going to get left behind. That's another unpopular opinion that I have. But as far as answering your question, does it seem like they're changing? Yes, but they're kind of being sneaky about it by being the same old Nintendo, and I think you're going to see that same old Nintendo rear its ugly head here pretty soon.
Wow. Okay, that's a good take. I don't know how y'all two gonna follow this up, but we gonna try. So, Fuzzy, I'm throwing that same question to you, brother. What do you feel about their recent change, as far as their opinion on crossplay, and they seem to be open to more ideas as far as working with other companies and not so guarded. I know it's going to be hard to follow up, Nick, but go ahead.
Yeah, I never thought Nintendo would be in this type of position where they would be open to this. I remember them being always, very strict about some of their IPs being, let on as far as Let's Plays on YouTube, and they were like the most closed system or ecosystem out of just about anybody. Like, I thought Apple's ecosystem was pretty closed. They were even more closed and held their IPs a lot tighter. Like with having, what was it, that Mario run or Mario Go,
Yeah.
as far as like an app on the phone.
Mario Run.
It seems like they now realize that, and I don't know if it's because of Iwata passing or what, but it just seems like they understand that being a little bit more open or loosening some of their restrictions as far as some of the old, ways of doing things or culture as far as how they approach gaming before, they can let some of those on the wayside. But the whole crossplay thing, I hope more games become crossplay and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they took that step. Eventually Sony will give it a try. Who knows? It'll probably be next generation before they do. But Nintendo has always been one of those where I remember being a Sega kid that they were always at your throat. Well, not really at your throat as far as Sega, but they were tough competition for Sega. And the fact that they're like opening up things to work with, quote unquote, their competition, but they kind of do their own thing. I think it's great. It's just it's great to see, and I'm hoping they continue. And like Nick said, it would be nice if they take some of the steps like what Microsoft's doing, improve their internet or their online service or their like party chat and things like that. Who knows? Maybe it was like a trade.
And I want to elaborate on that for a little bit. So I'm gonna move on to you, Zucker, once I get this off my chest, because I've always had an issue, and I don't want to run you off the show, Nick. But as far as Nintendo, and I know, and they say nostalgia is a hell of a drug. We all have our soft spot in our heart for Nintendo.
It is.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I had a damn Amber Alert on my phone. But anyway, and we nostalgia is a hell of a give. Really know as to why in 2018 you don't have an online infrastructure in place to even do basic things. Like you can invite people and do things like that, but it is bare ass bones.
Yep.
You know what I knew was a problem back in 20? I think Iwata was still alive. Obviously, I can't remember if it was him or somebody else with the Nintendo. They asked him in 2013 when the PS4 was revealed, the Xbox One was revealed. They asked, I think it was Iwata. Feel like how do you guys feel about online gaming? He said in 2013 they were just starting to take it serious.
Yep.
Out of his own mouth. I said, "Are you kidding me?"
That's always been my issue.
I said, "There's no way." You guys, I don't know how y'all create games on typewriters, because I'm sure y'all got computers in Nintendo somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the issue is, and so please do yourself a favor. Okay, do yourself a favor. All right, please do some of these basic things, and I just like to see progress for them. That's why I'm so happy about the whole crossplay, because to me that's a pretty big step in the mindset around Nintendo, more so than anything. I know Iwata's passing was a big deal, but I think the mindset around the entire company and how they've always done business is different now. They see that we need to try and get in on some. Not Mario's cute, but his ass gonna be left behind.
100%.
Oh yeah. I've always my chest, and I feel like I needed to get that off. But go ahead, Zucker. We go ahead and close out the show pretty much on you, brother. So, what do you feel about Nintendo and the crossplay situation?
To be honest, I feel like they're just reading the terrain of what's happening in the gaming industry. I think they're seeing the bad press that PlayStation's getting, and I know people think PlayStation's going to be more lenient later, but let's be honest, I don't think they are. They just said, didn't they just say that the reason why they don't have crossplay or whatever,
better experience on
they have a better it's the better experience, or it's a better like system network, or something like it's a better network.
Trust me, that quote made me so angry.
Oh, it didn't make me angry. I just kind of laughed at it, and I was like, all right, I guess we got delusional ass motherfuckers.
The arrogance of somebody to say something like that. But we'll go ahead.
It's not even arrogant. It's just
it's a lie.
It's tone. It's so. It's tone deaf. It's a tone deaf.
Tone deaf, lying, arrogant. Either way, it's wrong.
And that's. And I think Nintendo kind of, after the Wii, I think they kind of, and after a lot of things, they kind of looked at him and like, listen, we need to make a little bit of changes. We need to adapt with what people are expecting, and that's something that I feel Microsoft is at the forefront of. I think that they're making a lot of changes to the gaming industry, and I think Nintendo's keeping track of it to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't keep track of. Like when you said about that 2013 quote, like they don't even have basic things. Like they're going to be left behind in like 6 years if they don't change. Like that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And they know, and it takes and a lot of people are like, why can't they just have this online stuff? It's like, man, that takes years to build and a lot of money.
Nintendo doesn't have the infrastructure as well. They've never invested in that part of their brand. That's never been something that they've looked at. So why put the money there when it's never been a focus, you know? So they're super late to the party when it comes to like online infrastructure, servers, that kind of thing. That's not even what Nintendo does. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's
right. That's what I'm saying about the crossplay was the fact that because I love the fact that they were open to crossplay, but it wasn't like they had to put forth any resources for it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. And so I want Nintendo, and it seems like they're headed that way, but I'm still kind of leery about it. I really am.
You're skeptical. You're kind of covering your ass.
I'm skeptical about it. I want to see them have the online infrastructure. I want them to have all these great ideas and be open, but I still fear that once maybe they do a little bit here and then they're just going to turn back to the same Nintendo.
See, that's the thing. Like when you think of Nintendo, for me, when I think of Nintendo, I think of Smash Brothers, Zelda,
exactly.
Exclusives. When you think of PlayStation, you think of God of War, and you think of just, I don't know, the exclusives that they have. When you think of Xbox, you think of features, Xbox Live, like especially Xbox Live.
Oh,
I think of that. And I think of Halo and Gears, right? So that's what people think of. Nintendo doesn't have that household like, oh, this network's going to kill it for me. And that's something that they need to work on. And they do. Like, they just have to stay relevant. Like, their games are going to sell. We all know that.
Can they? I mean, do they have?
They're going to have to put the money toward it, man. We don't know.
I don't think they're going to. Here's the deal. I want Nintendo to come out with a more powerful Switch. They're probably not going to do that. They feel like that with the Switch, they have their own niche and their own market to crush it in. But my concern is this. Yes, right now you're killing it. Right now you have the crossplay. Right now you're getting certain third-party support for the Switch. But as soon as these new consoles come out, you're going to get left behind. As soon as these next consoles come out, and Zink said it first, I will not support Nintendo until they move into next generation, which is right. Once these new consoles come out and you still have the Switch, you're going to get left behind. That's why I'm worried about it. They need to either do something to stay relevant a little bit or start killing their niche like big time, because like I said, it's only going to be a few years before the Switch won't be as powerful.
Nintendo is in a very advantageous position. Think about what their position has been this entire generation. They're the only person out of this generation. I don't know if you can include the Xbox One. They have a failed console this generation in the Wii U, a failed console, right? They've had a complete lack of first-party games for an extended period. There was like a year and a half period where they didn't have anything coming out. Nothing. Between like fucking, I think it was like Donkey Kong, Tropical Freeze, and some other shit. Like what's the game with the graffiti game? God damn, I can't think of the damn game. Not graffiti, but the
Splatoon.
The Nintendo game, yes.
Splatoon.
Yeah, Splatoon. I had a brain fart. Splatoon. There was like a whole period there where there was nothing coming out. But they've been in an advantageous position because nobody's ever the nostalgia. Nobody ever puts Nintendo's feet to the fire because that's just Nintendo. They'll do their own lane. They do what they want. Well, no, they're gonna get that. It doesn't work. Even though they don't, they've come out and said, "Well, we're not competing." You are competing. You make this. You make a console, so you are competing, even if you don't want to. So at this point in the life cycle, I have no fucking idea what they're going to do because, like you said, it's going to get to a point to where technically that console can't run these newer games. Where just like from a technical standpoint, you can't play the games on that. Well, yeah, but I mean, they have enough first party games and enough third party support to last with the Switch. But we're talking about, like Zucker said, that next step, which is going to be here 2-3 years from now. That Switch can't run them damn. It's not going to be able to run those games.
Exactly, and that's my concern. And I know they're not worried about third-party support. They really only focus on their IPs. But once again, when these next games come out, when the next Fortnite comes out, or the next crossplay game that comes out, and they can't have it on their console because the Switch isn't able to do it, that could be an issue.
Well, I kind of want to it's same topic sort of with crossplay. Arsenic Steel 00, what you're saying, Sony isn't being arrogant. They're not being arrogant. They're being fucking stupid, bro. They're literally telling you this is the best place to play, and this is why we're not giving you crossplay. They're taking something away from their consumers that other people are providing. It's not arrogance, it's idiocy. Like, they're just stupid, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's annoying me to the point where I don't want to support them because they're not going to have cross progression and cross play because they're high and mighty and superior. In what way? Their network isn't superior, bro. Like, I'm sorry. It's just not. That is just them, like, taking their customers and kicking them in the nuts and being like, we have the best network. See how your nuts feel? Perfect, right? No. Like, I'm sorry, man. So like, you gotta grow up a little bit.
No, we're not. You know, not to downplay you or anything, Arsenic. Appreciate you stopping in, by the way, brother. Thank you for the support. But I didn't say Nintendo lacked exclusives. I said there was a period of time during that Wii U generation where they didn't have a damn game coming out at all. And there was no game for 12 to 15 months. Like, there was nothing coming out. There was nothing out. So that's what I meant by that. Now, as far as what we're honing in on here is just the fact that if Nintendo doesn't do something, they're going to get to a point to where they're going to Wii U themselves twice.
That's my biggest concern.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to Wii U themselves one more time because, he said, look at the sales. Well, the Wii U started out phenomenal as well. I don't know if you remember that far back, but the Wii U started out great as far as sales in the first 6 to 10 months. It sold a lot of consoles. Then it trailed off because there was no third-party support, and there was nothing else coming out after that as far as there was no Zelda, barely any Mario. There was no, matter of fact, the Wii U didn't have Zelda at all, right? There was not a single Zelda game on the Wii U, right?
Well, the Wii U, the other thing, too, is that they don't make money off of a Wii U sale. They make money off of the software being sold on it. And that's what hurts everything, right? Like, it's why people talk about, see, the network that Xbox has and how great it is, and why, you know, Nintendo needs to get to that point is because the engagement on Xbox, and this has been reported by multiple developers and multiple people, that gamer engagement on Xbox is higher than any other platform. That's how Xbox makes most of their money. That's just how it is. That's how gaming makes their money, is through software sales. And Nintendo doesn't have that. So they have to bring out a console that's not as graphically intensive and basically bring out exclusives so they can make a decent amount of money on it. Mm-hmm. But if they get that network down and if they have an ecosystem,
that's the kicker. I agree with you 100%.
So if they have that network and ecosystem invested with their exclusives, can you imagine how big of a juggernaut they can be?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Because Nintendo does better than the other two companies is put out high quality games. When Nintendo drops a game, you never see a Nintendo game talk about a day one patch. You never see a Nintendo game come out broken. When they put out games, Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, well, okay, now maybe you're a little more versed in that, but traditionally they have a better success rate. They're a little more, their games don't usually come out broken. There may be some things, but that I may not be aware of. But generally, as far as you compare it to Sony and Nintendo, I mean Sony and Microsoft, every fucking third-party game comes out for those two consoles needs to have a patch, just about. Or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So Nintendo doesn't have, they're in a unique position where they don't usually have that issue. You know what I'm saying? But maybe, I said, Nick, you know a little bit more than I do.
I agree with that. I misheard you. You were talking about day one patches. I was talking about like just other games like Nintendo. Yeah, their games come out clean, but yeah, their games like come out broken as far as like games being unbalanced. That's the point I was getting at. They never balance.
Oh, got it.
That's a different subject. I thought that's what you were getting at.
Oh, no, for sure. No. So, yeah, but pretty much, guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Things were kind of ramping up there, man. But, I like to keep this thing about an hour or so. Don't like to hold anybody too long. Once again, want to give a great shout out to everybody here that is watching. If it's your first time, please drop a like on the video, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to make sure I leave these gentlemen's information here in the description as well, so you guys can follow them on Twitter as well. I believe Zalker and Nick both have YouTube channels, so please go follow them. But I'm going to let everybody go ahead and let you guys know where they can find you. We're going to start with the guest of the hour. And before you say anything, Nick, I just want to say I appreciate you coming out, spending a little bit of time with us this Saturday, man. The door is always open, man. I'm a family guy, so once you're on here once, man, you never know when you're going to get a tweet from me again saying, hey, man, you mind jumping in. So appreciate you, buddy. But go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you at.
All right. Well, you can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/Nintendo Direct, all one word there. I do a podcast on Sundays where we talk about Nintendo news and other gaming news as well. It's not just a Nintendo podcast, but we do more Nintendo news more than anything else. That'll be tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. So if you don't mind hopping over there tomorrow, that'd be awesome. You can also find me on Twitter, twitter.com, Nintendo Direct. The I in Direct is a 1, so it's kind of weird there. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on, man. Like, you reached out to me and I was like, oh man, I remember we were on a Boom's podcast and that was a good time. And so when you reached out, I said, yeah, man, I got to be on there. So I really do appreciate the invite, and it was a good time.
Not a problem, man. Like I said, it's always a good time here on the Shop Podcast. We do our damn thing, man. So we ain't the biggest show, but we have a lot of fun and we on our way. But go ahead, Mr. Unassuming Fuzzy. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you, brother. That's gonna stick, right?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Fuzzy_Belvedere, PSN, Fuzzy_Belvedere, on Xbox Live, Fuzzy Space Belvedere. Usually playing Forza 90% of the time, and now I'm hooked on Rise of the Tomb Raider, finally hitting that backlog. But been an awesome podcast. Good talking games with you, Nick, and as usual, Zocker and Blam. Yeah, catch me on Twitter and Xbox Live.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and move this thing along to Zalker himself. Now, I got to do a special introduction for Zalker because before you know it, he's going to be Hollywood. So we got to catch him before he turns Hollywood. Zalker's the next big thing. If you guys haven't followed Zalker, please, once again, I'm going to leave information in the description as well. But please go follow him, guys, on Twitter. He is a new up-and-comer YouTuber. But go ahead. I'll let you kind of talk about all of that, Zalk. Give yourself a shout-out, brother.
Thanks, man. Honestly, thanks for the kind words. I think you're being a little too much there. It's all right, though. Yeah, no, you guys can find me on Twitter at Shocked87, and then obviously my YouTube channel. Just look up Zalker87 and check out my videos. I post as many as I can every week and talk about things. But yeah, I'm happy to be on here. Everybody, you guys are all awesome. Nintendo, you're actually a cool guy, dude. It's the first time I'm talking to you, but man, pleasant guy to talk to, man. You know your shit. That was awesome. Fuzzy. You're unassuming. Unassuming Fuzzy. What was it? Damn it! I messed it up. I gotta get it right.
Screwed it up. God damn it! You gotta get it. I gotta put that on a T-shirt or something.
You gotta do, man. You gotta. Yeah. So yeah, and PTK, man, like always, man, awesome. Everybody in the chat, even though I got a little intense, it's always good. I love everybody.
Yeah, for sure. We keep it cool around here. But once again, it's your host with the most, PTK Blam, friendly neighborhood gamer. Got so many AKs, it's not even funny, but we're not going to get into that. But follow me on everywhere, PTK Blam across the board. Xbox Live, PTK Blam here on PTK Blam. It's every afternoon at 5 p.m. Pacific, guys. I'm always trying to bring new people in here. We have a really good time, so make sure you guys share the link. I tweeted out for the next 2 or 3 days, probably. Watch the video, tell your friends about it. Hopefully they can come and watch as well. But thank you guys for stopping in and sharing a little bit of time with us once again this Saturday. Peace out, guys. We love you. See you again next week, same time, same place. Peace out, everybody. See you guys later.
Later, guys.
Peace. Later.